all. So, welcome to the new subject, that is Indian polity and governance. It is one of the important subject you have seen, which is part of your preliminary examinations and also mains examination and also interview process. Not only for UPSC, but also for your state public service commissions and also for your any other exams, because we are Indians, and as an Indian citizens, at least it is our responsibility to know our constitution, our polity, our government system, the governance, etc. We are saying, we are using so many words, right? So I said welcome to Indian polity subject. Fine. What actually it means? Okay. So we'll understand the Indian polity. We have heard, correct? We have heard this subject. So in this session, we'll be focusing on introducing the subject, the basic terms, not of like all the details of our constitution or the fundamental rights or government system. Basically, we'll understand what actually polity is, what actually constitution is, what actually government is, what actually governance is. Correct? So we are using all these words. So in the introduction part, we'll understand first all these terms, important terms. Then we'll understand what all we are going to study. That is very, very important, right? Because without having the roadmap, the clear roadmap, so it is not possible to study well. Means we don't know where actually we are standing. So what all the topics need to be covered, so that we will understand. Fine. So before entering into the subject, let us assume your own family. Okay. So there are certain rules and regulations, right? Any family. So it may be not be in the written form, but like it's understood that where it is written, nobody will question like that. So already father will says, already it is 10 o'clock. Where you are or where you are. So what does it mean? What is the relation? By before 10 o'clock you should be in home. Where is the document? Have you ever asked your father? Show me why I should not come after 10 o'clock. Correct? Have you questioned it? Is there any document in the home? Why I should not come after 10? Interesting, right? But we are following it. Okay? That means for a family, you have some set of rules and regulations. Okay? Another example we'll take. So take the example of the classroom. Correct? In classroom also, there may be certain rules. Okay, the class starts at 10 o'clock. So you should be there before that. After that, entry may not be allowed. That may be official thing. But there are certain unofficial things. So while I'm delivering my lecture, so you people, if you're chit-chatting among yourself, okay, then I ask what you are doing, why you are disturbing the class. Fine. So if you ask, sir, where is the rule? In between the class, we should not talk to each other. So not necessarily, right? Everywhere, will not be writing that in the document format or agreement format. Maybe a board may be there, maintain silence. That's it. But when, where, what? Whether it is during the class or after the class or how? Fine. Okay. In the same classroom, if you take, okay, it's a room consisting of a dais. Okay, the chairs are being placed. Everything is fine. What do you call that? What do you call that? Okay, room. Okay, it's basically a room. A position is there to, like a position is reserved for a teacher, so where he can go and start his lecture. And the seats are there. where the students can sit and study. Can we say that wherever this dais and the chairs are available, it's a classroom? Not necessarily. It may be like a political event. A political head may be standing here and his fellow members of the party are sitting there. Okay, then this classroom on its means just by having chairs and dais cannot be called as a classroom. Correct? It may become a meeting room, it may become a convention, or it may become a classroom, or anything. Fine, interesting. That means there is a structure. Basically, there is a structure available. The moment students sit and lecture delivers, then you will call it as a classroom. So, mere by chairs and dais or board, it will not become a classroom. So, the life is given to it after we start delivering the lecture. Right? So, then only you call it as a classroom. Otherwise, just a room with some infrastructure, basic infrastructure available in it. Fine. You might be thinking, why I am explaining all these things? Yes, you will understand. What we know, that we feel easily we can correlate and understand, then we can understand the same concepts in a bigger level. Okay, another scenario of this institute. Okay, Topper Institute. It is not just teacher and students, right? So, how to accommodate, like, who should be part of this batch, who should not be part of this batch, correct? So, if you look into it, there will be some process, okay, how to admit the students. Okay, for example, conduct the entrance test. If they are qualified, then only they can be given a seat in the Topper IAS. So that is a process, right? Process. So who can take the exam, who can attend it, like what kind of scholar test can be, so whether they are eligible or not, whatever it may be, how it should be conducted, whether online or offline, so whatever. So there is some process, right? Fine. Just by making process, it will not run on its own. There will be certain set of people, correct, who is going to implement those processes. Or the laws, for example, in the classroom, before 10 you are not allowed. So somebody should be there to handle it, right? Otherwise there is no meaning to it. So there basically set of people are there. Set of people are there who are implementing all these processes and rules and regulations. Fine. Okay. So that we can call the Topper IAS administration. Right? Interestingly, in the Indian system, okay, we can see all these things, we can correlate all these things, we can understand the subject easily. Okay, now you see. Okay, so I discussed like polity. Fine. So I said, welcome to the Indian polity subject. Fine. What is actually polity? Polity is an identifiable political entity. Identifiable political entity. What do you mean by identifiable political entity? So based upon some ideologies, correct? Each political party is having its own ideologies, such a set of principles. Okay. Here it is an identifiable political entity. Any group of people who have collective identity, who are organized by some form of institutionalized social relations and have a capacity to mobilize resources. Let us take the example of a political party like BJP or Indian National Congress, correct? So it is a group of people who have collective identity. They have certain faiths, who has faith in certain principles of that political party or in that party. Okay, whatever name you call, rightist or leftist or whatever, fine. Principles. What are the political or administrative views of that political party or economical view of that party. Fine. So they are having collective identity. Means a whole group are having collective identity, who are organized by some form of institutionalized social relations. Correct? So after having that mentality or ideas in their mind, so they are grouped under a particular name, right? Political party name is there. Fine. It may be Janata Dal, it may be BJP or Indian National Congress or whatever. So here the polity is not about just one political entity. Please understand that. Okay. It is the, we can say, we can merge everything. When I am saying, for example, restricting a particular group, I can say that, okay, these groups are having same characteristics. But the moment I say Indian polity, it is not just BJP or it is not just one ideology or Congress or BSP, right? So it is actually all those are in India, are part of India. Okay, so are part of India. That is that collective identity. If I say only for this group, okay, or this group, sorry, as a India whole, India, correct? The Indian polity, if I want to say, that itself is the collective identity of India. Indian polity. Okay, so we are having that identity. In a smaller scale, if you say, it may come to just a political party level. But in the larger context, if you see the polity, okay, so it is like whole Indians come into picture. I am saying, talking about Indian polity. Okay, Indian polity. Fine. So they have capacity to mobilize really resources. Yes. What is the purpose of having such bigger group or collective identity? We should be able to mobilize the resources so that we can spend on the people, for the welfare of the people. Correct? So that the nation grows to a higher level. Okay, whatever it may be. So here, first we'll understand, then we'll correlate. Okay. Second, the Constitution. What is Constitution? It is basically a set of laws and rules that sets up machinery of the government of India. Government of a state or government of India. So in a family, how rules or regulations are made, or in a school, how the rules and regulations are made. That is nothing but the constitution of top rise, the constitution of your home. Fine. It may not be in the written form in the home, but it may be listed out in an institute, whatever. Similarly, India is also having a set of laws or rules, regulations codified in a book that we know as the Constitution of India. Correct? So it is basically, it's not just one rule. It is a group of rules. Correct? All the type of rules. For what? Because India is not just made up of a central government or a local government, correct, or citizens. So it is, everyone is there. State is there, citizens are there, foreigners are there, everyone is there. So how everyone should behave? Some rules are required, right? Just imagine a road where there is no traffic light, no traffic police, no rules at all. Means you should keep your left, nothing, no rules. What will happen? Traffic jam, accidents, correct? So, for a country also, for the minimal coordination, okay, so the constitution is required. So here it sets up the machinery of the government of a state. Means in order to run the show, so rules and regulations are compulsory. It is a required. Okay. Later we'll connect Now, governance and government. Governance and government. So we say that central government or state government. Fine. So what actually it is? Government is just a system or group of people governing an organized community. Group of people governing an organized community. Organized community is nothing but India or Karnataka or Madhya Pradesh or Tamil Nadu, whatever it is. Correct? So here, government is a set of group of people. Okay. So like topper IAS, I said, there are certain administrators, correct, who are there to govern this topper IAS. Okay. So look after the topper IAS. Similarly, in India, there are group of people, okay, who are there to look after whole India or who are there to look after a particular state like Rajasthan. So that is government. That is government. And what is governance? What is governance? So the system which entities are directed and controlled. So as I said, the topper is that government, that is group of people are there. Correct? So they are going to control how the admissions are to be taken, how the student should behave, everything they are going to control, right? So that is how you are directed or controlled. Similarly, in the state, the citizens of nation or it may be particular state, okay, which entities are directed and controlled. Directed and controlled. Got it? So government is basically a group of people. By having that people, we cannot do anything. So they should be able to direct or control how they are doing it. Governance. For example, you might have heard about mobile governance, e-governance or whatever. So that is the mechanism. Like through online they are controlling. Correct? Using mobile itself they are reaching the people. So they are directing the people or controlling the people so that they can deliver the benefits to them. Okay. So now we have understood. See, government is basically a group of people. Okay. Governance, how they are going to control or direct the people. And the constitution, yes, while delivering, they need to adhere to certain rules and regulations. While delivering, they need to adhere to certain rules and regulations. Fine. So, such scenario, the constitution comes into picture. In the classroom, rules are made. On their own, rules cannot be implemented. Just because by writing the word maintain silence, if you are not maintaining silence, okay, somebody should be there to look after it, right? Then only there is a meaning to it. So, constitution is a document, correct? On its own, no meaning to it. In a family, after 10 you should not come, correct? But if father is not there to ask, is there any value for that? If mother is not asking, grandmother is not asking, is there any value for that? So constitution is just rules. Traffic lights are there. Okay. If somebody is not there to monitor you, is there any value for those rules? So like that, the government will have its own processes, correct, to control or deliver the benefits to the people. But whom it should benefit? For example, in the constitution, if it says don't discriminate anyone, it may happen like these people, group of people, are delivering something to or controlling something to citizens. How it should be? It should be fair, give equal opportunity. So that is how this constitution, say, understand in a simple manner. Group of people are here, process is there, correct? Means it may be mobile governance or normal governance or e-governance or whatever the mode, but how they should be treated, correct? That is through these rules and regulations. So please connect the things, correct? In a topper is group of people are there to look after the administration. So they have done some procedures. So rule says that don't discriminate anyone. Don't discriminate on the basis of caste, sex, race, place of birth. Give equal opportunity to everyone. But on the basis of merit, that is the rule. So this is the process and these are the people. correct? Government, governance, constitution, and polity, Indian polity. Okay, so here it is like a collective identity. I said collective identity. So what actually it includes? It actually gives a structure. Just like I earlier said, how the classrooms are, means a room is filled with the chairs and this. That is basically structure. So these government, so where they need to sit? In that structure only, right? Just by group of people, they cannot be there somewhere and handle it. So they should be there in a particular structure. So we have some parliament structure, example. Fine. So in that structure, they should sit and act. So if somebody asked, what is Indian polity? It is the collective identity. For example, if they say that India is a republic polity. Okay. So that is like an identity. What do you mean by that? That is elected head is there in our country. So that is the collective identity. I am also a citizen of India. You are also a citizen of India. Both of us should agree to that. India is a republic polity, correct? If somebody says India is the democratic polity, yes. See, I earlier said so individual small group, but when it comes to India as a whole, I will not say that mine is the BJP ideology or Congress ideology or JDS ideology or BSP ideology, correct? So this is including everything bigger than that, irrespective of their individual identity. So they should be able to say that everyone, irrespective of this party or that party, they should be able to show collective identity. So we are having a republic polity, we are having a democratic polity, we are having a socialistic polity. That is, well, we are interested in looking after the welfare of the people, correct? So that is collective identity here. Indian polity. Here it is a individual, just a polity introduction. But when you are saying that it is Indian polity, so it is a collective identity like democracy. Ours is a democratic polity. It is basically structure. Please understand, like a classroom with empty seats and dais. Okay, but just we know that. Okay, please, one thing you have to understand: you may replicate this exact classroom somewhere else, but it will not become topperized classes, correct? It is not the exactly same. So just by having, for example, we have copied the Britain system, parliamentary system. We have copied, same like Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, whatever we have copied. But is it, are we functioning exactly like Britain? No. It is not at all possible. You may have 10 similar houses, correct? But you will be calling somebody says, okay, that is Thakur's home, this is Hulmani's home. See, if that changes, just by having structure, inside content will not be exactly the same. Fine. So that structure will be given life by whom? By actually government and the through governance. That is the act. This is the body, this is the act. Okay. So together as a whole, Indian polity. Okay. Indian polity, it helps us to understand what India is basically. Okay, what type of country it is, what kind of inside it, there may be different ideologies, but together we say that we are Indians. Fine. So Indian polity, constitution, governance, government. Fine. So here you have understood these words. Okay, and there are many more words. But like you might have heard about law, act, dual polity, double government. That is the extension of all those things. Like we have understood what is government, we'll understand what is double government. Okay, so inside the chapter we'll understand just dual polity. Polity, yes, we have understood, but for example, central government and state government, dual, two types of polity is there. With respect to functioning of the government, we can say India is having dual polity, but actually it is now three-tier polity. Okay, anyway, so what is called as law, what is called as act. Okay, so much more things are awaited, like we need to understand. But before understanding the concepts, we need to understand like how we are going to divide this subject, how we are going to understand this subject. Okay, so we'll see that content of this subject one by one. Content of this subject. Okay, so basically, with respect to book list, in the introduction class you might have listened to that, but introduction means general introduction of the syllabus. But anyway, once again, the books which can be referred for this subject is, one is Lakshmikant, Indian Polity by Lakshmikant, and NCERT book, that is Constitution at Work, 12th standard book. Even if you want to study like 6 to 10 standard, that is also fine. And after that, we have Indian Constitution by Subhash Kashyap, Our Parliament by Subhash Kashyap, and to use like dictionary, like whenever you get doubt in article 312, you can open directly 312 and understand what is that. That is PM Bakshi. It is not necessary to read everything, okay, but at least you should be having awareness, at least when you get doubt, what to do. PM Bakshi, don't read it like a book, it is like a dictionary. Okay, if you are not comfortable, alternative, okay, like other books also you can refer, but not an issue. So you can stick to PM Bakshi like a dictionary, and Constitution at Work, and also Lakshmikant book. That is enough for your preparation. Okay, fine. So here we are going to study Indian polity, like the constitutional framework, okay, system of government, means we know that government is there. So what type of government system, what is that system? We'll see that inside also. How we'll see central government, state government, local government, union territories and special areas. Okay, like why everything is not like state, some things are like union territories, and also there are special areas in India. Constitutional and non-constitutional bodies, means some bodies are mentioned in the constitution and some are not mentioned in the constitution. Those are by maybe act of parliament or by the presidential order or through just executive resolution. Some bodies are set up for specific task. Okay, so here the constitutional framework. Okay, so what you need to study here, we'll also discuss, and also importance of each subject, means each chapter basically, that also we'll understand. So here we are going to study, means we have discussed under different parts. Okay, so here this first part basically we can divide it like, if you see, okay, see from the exam point of view, this first part, okay, please understand, focus should be on the third part. I will explain anyway, third part, and the fifth part, so, and this 7 and 8, 1 3 5 7 and 8 you should be focusing on. Sir, how about remaining? You will understand when I say and explain the syllabus of the particular topic, Indian polity. So what all things you are going to study here. Okay, and also there are many more topics that will be covering in the advanced level topic, which is mainly required for your mains point of view. Okay, fine. So here the constitutional framework. So I have understood what is constitution. That is basically set of rules and regulations are codified in a single book. Correct? Constitutionalism. What do you mean by constitutionalism? Constitutionalism is, so it is not like king's rule or leader's rule, where there are no rules and regulations. He will be dictating the terms. You do like this, you do like this. So here it is basically governed by set of rules and regulation. Okay, a government controlled by rules and regulations, that we can say that constitutionalism. Basically, you can also say like limited government. That means there are some rules to control it. Okay, fine. So how actually the constitutional framework, this constitution has arrived? How? Constitution is in place now. We have constitution, but it is not written on single day. Correct? We know that for almost 3 years it was written, but that 3 years it is not like that freshly written. So the historical background since from the arrival of the British and other Europeans to India, okay, how the British started rule, like company rule, later crown's rule. Okay, the historical background you need to understand how actually our constitution slowly grown over the period of time from the regulating act to independence act. So finally we are having that constitution. We need to understand historical background, then only we can appreciate certain things. What is the logic behind this, why actually this point is added? Otherwise, so we'll talk like, okay, this is not required. For example, reservation, without understanding the background you cannot appreciate. Simply you will say that okay, reservation should be removed, everyone should be treated equally. So we need to understand history. Anyway, historical background. Then making of the constitution. Yes, finally, after we get independence, this is up to independence. After we get independence, means during the time of independence, actually, how the constitution was made with the help of a particular body, Constituent Assembly. Salient features of the constitution. See, for example, if somebody asks about earth, salient features of earth. So if you understand that, then it becomes very easy for us to navigate through this chapter, means subject. Actually this chapter, salient features of the constitution, is very, very important one, because it gives complete overview of what actually you are going to study. All the important features, whatever you are going to study, you will be understanding in this chapter. Then preamble chapter is there. Just like for any book, preface will be there. Okay, so where you can focus on the constitution, for what importance is given, that you can easily understand in the preamble. And union and its territory. So basically we have states, union territories, correct? So what is actually India, how actually states are formed, how actually union territories are formed, that we will understand in this chapter. Citizenship. So we all are the, for example, in a family. Okay, what is family? Means a particular group of people belonging to the same lineage or blood group, correct? They are the members of that blood group, that is family. Similarly, here with the same type of identity or belief in some system, like we are also members of a country, that is citizenship concept. Then fundamental rights chapter is there. In order to live our dignified life, some essential things should be given to us. That is actually the responsibility of the state to ensure that citizens will get their rights. So we'll understand that in the fundamental rights chapter. Directive principle of state policy. So some responsibilities are given to state in order to look after the people, considering the welfare of the people. Some principles, direction is given, correct? Do like this, do like this, do like this. That is directive principles of state policy. While making laws, please follow these norms so that it will benefit the people, correct? So here, fundamental rights. One side, they are giving directly the rights in the hands of the citizens. Another side, they are giving responsibility to the government. Please follow these principles while making laws. Fundamental duties. So not only for the state but also for citizens, some responsibilities are given. Protect your environment, protect your nation, correct? So respect the national flag, anthem, fine, like that, fundamental duties. So this is talking about responsibility of the government, this is the responsibility of the citizens. And amendment of the constitution. Basically the constitution what we had in 1947 is not exactly the same what we have now. Why? Because so many things are changed in that, modified from time to time based upon the need. So that's amendment. How actually we can amend the constitution? Is it easy or difficult? We'll understand. Basic structure of the constitution. So that's the interesting story about the basic structure, like how actually it evolved, how actually it is evolved. So that is interesting thing. Basic structure of the constitution, that is like which are very essential for this constitution, where we cannot change at all. Very, very essential. Without that, there is no meaning to that constitution. Such concept we are going to understand in this basic structure theory. Okay. From coming to the exam point of view, I am not telling that don't read this or that, but I am saying if your focus is more on these 3 chapters, means out of this, yes, these 3 chapters plus preamble, okay, give maximum weightage to these 4 chapters. Maximum weightage I can say. Okay, means study always these 4 chapters. So remaining give. If you are studying these 4 times, remaining I can say 1 time you can study. These chapters 4 times, that is 1 time. That is how you should maintain. So about salient features, because it is covering everything, that is very important, no doubt about it. Salient feature is like whole constitution features. Okay, give more importance to this. Means all other chapters you are going to understand these salient features basically. Okay, so system of governance. Okay, so we need to understand, see, system of government is there, group of people is correct, but what actually they are following, how they are behaving. For example, in USA government is there, in India government is there, but is it the same? In India we are following the parliamentary system. What do you mean by that? So in USA we are following presidential system. What do you mean by that? We need to understand. Similarly, federal system in USA also. So we'll understand the concepts later, because here we are limiting our introduction to just what it is actually, what you can understand in that chapter. Okay, that content we can study there. So here it is going to talk about the government system, that is what type of system, like legislature, lawmaking body is there, executive is there, what is the relation between them? Yeah, are they together or are they completely separate? Yes, we are going to understand that in the parliamentary system. Federal system. So India as a whole is there, correct? And inside that states are there. States. These are small units and this is a bigger unit, Indian government or union government. What is the relation between these states and center? That we will understand. Basically we are going to deal with the government, correct? But there are multiple ways to understand it. So this is from the functioning point of view. Lawmaking body, that is parliament. Executive, correct? You people. What is the relation between legislative and executive? We will understand in this chapter. Federal system, you are going to understand what is the relation between the smaller units, that is states, and the center. So that is federal system. We are going to understand what is the relation. We will understand there in the chapter. Center-state relation. So obviously central government and state government need to interact. So administrative matters or financial matters or correct, executive matters, they need to have relation, right? Whether they are cordial relation, you know that sometimes states will be fighting with the centers, correct, conflict among themselves, whatever that is, we'll understand. Similarly, interstate relation. So like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, fight over water issue, but may not be same with other issues. Like with other states, we may not be having any dispute, like whatever. So interstate relations, center to state, state to state. So these two, how they are having the relation, that we'll understand. And emergency provisions. So sometimes national emergency may happen, like war situation or internal disturbance, correct, like armed rebellion, or it may be the stable government is not there, no government is ready to form its government, like no party is in majority, what should happen? That is also emergency situation. And financial emergency. So we'll understand these things in the second unit. Central government, very important. As I said, third unit. After first unit, third unit to focus more. Okay. So here basically we are having two types of head. One is president, another is PM. So here I will not disclose. In the classroom you can understand, you can in the lecture you will understand who is this president. He is also head of the state. Who is this prime minister? He is also head of the state. Then what is the intention of having two heads? Anyway, that we will understand, president and prime minister. Okay, why actually we have two heads? What is the powers and functions of both? We'll understand in detail. Okay, and a small chapter, vice president will be there. Vice president, usually you might have seen him sitting as the chairperson of Rajya Sabha. We'll understand who is this vice president. And Central Council of Ministers. Obviously, Prime Minister is not alone handling whole nation. So there will be group of ministers, Central Council of Ministers, correct? In order to execute, because Prime Minister alone cannot handle all the portfolios. Somebody should be there to handle education, somebody should be there to handle the law and order problem, somebody should be there to handle the finance problem. So basically Council of Ministers. Okay. And committees. For example, in order to handle certain issues, okay, it is not possible to discuss everything in a larger group. So we need to have specific bodies or expert bodies in order to take the decision, or parallel tasking. So it is not possible to discuss all the issues at a single point of time. So basically we'll be having committees in order to assist when you are taking that decisions. Committees will understand. Very important, that is Parliament. Actually the biggest chapter, but interesting chapter. You all people may be interested to know how actually, see, you might have heard Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. How many members are there? Correct, how it functions. Who is the head of Lok Sabha? Who is the head of Rajya Sabha? Who is this called as opposition leader? Who is this prime minister or leader of the house? Correct. How actually laws are made in the parliament? Correct. How actually laws are made for the country? How actually decisions are taken in the parliament? How actually they are asking questions? How actually answers will be given? Is it mandatory to give answers or not? What type of questions can be asked? Everything we'll understand in the parliament chapter. Okay. So, and also the parliamentary committees like cabinet committees and also the parliamentary forums, okay, which are there basically to facilitate the smooth functioning of the parliament, we can study. And the Supreme Court. We know that government is made up of legislative, executive and judiciary. Okay, that is law making, executive and judiciary. I will make you to understand the story behind this after we study what we are going to study. Okay, so here the Supreme Court, that is Supreme Court, whenever the legislature and executive conflict, means problem arises or interpretation is required, dispute arises, somebody should be there to solve that problem. That is Supreme Court, that is our judiciary system. Okay, in this third unit, focus should be on President, Parliament, Supreme Court. See, these three chapters you need to study. Like if you study four times, the remaining chapter you can study one time. Okay. And state government, we are not going to study it separately. So while studying president, because president is at the central level, that is head of the India, but here is the head of the state. Okay. Similarly, prime minister, only differences we'll understand. We are not going to discuss separately. Please understand that. There is no need to discuss the same thing because only small changes will be there. That we will discuss in the concerned chapter, Prime Minister. Similarly, Council of Ministers at the center, here also it is there. There it is Parliament, here it is State Legislature. Only difference may be like, in the Parliament we have lower house and upper house, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. In state only we can say state legislative assemblies. Only in few states we are having upper houses, that we will understand. So High Court along with Supreme Court, we will study High Court. But below that, like district courts or municipal courts, that we have to understand. Special status of Jammu and Kashmir. Now we know that Article 370 has been removed. But still it is important because still many things need to be settled there. Okay, after converting it to the union territory. Fine. So what are the things need to be handled there? So that's why we need to understand that. And also, not only with respect to that state, special provisions are given to Nagaland or Karnataka, correct? So many states are given with the special provisions, that also we need to understand. So here, it is not about some special study, it's already covered in the previous thing. Please, you need to understand this, otherwise you start studying each and every page and of the Lakshmikant book or any other book. Please, without going through this understanding, so it becomes very, very difficult, because it's difficult means it will take a lot of your time consuming. Okay, next, local government. Okay, Panchayat Raj and municipality, like later it is added, actually 73rd and 74th amendments, constitution amendments added these two things, that is local governments. The vision of Gandhi to develop the villages like independent entities was possible in Panchayat Raj. We will understand like village panchayat, district panchayat, correct? So we'll understand them. And similarly, you are curious to understand what type of cities. You might have heard about municipality, correct? Or cantonment area, or notified area, or port area, correct? Nagara panchayat, municipality, corporation. So all are to govern the cities. It is about villages. It is about governing villages. Okay, villages. And this is about governing city areas or industrial areas. So that we will study in this local government. And so as I said, first, third, now fifth, yes, you need to focus, learn thoroughly these two things. Okay. And so union territories, scheduled and tribal areas, because we don't have all only as a states, but also we have some special places considered as union territories. Why actually they are union territories? Like it may be Delhi, or it may be Dadra and Nagar Haveli, correct? It may be Ladakh, Jammu. So actually, what is the speciality of those union territories? Who will rule them? Because we know the central government and state government. But how these areas are ruled, that also we need to understand, right? If you say central government, you say that either prime minister is there or president is there. If you say that state, either governor is there or CM is there. But if you say remaining areas like union territories are scheduled and tribal areas, somebody should be there to rule, right? So that we need to understand. Now, constitutional and non-constitutional bodies. Constitution has provided, like first thing, election commission. We know the importance of election in a democracy. Free and fair elections are conducted means then only the true leaders can be elected. So how the election commission functions, how it actually allots symbols, how it conducts the election, how it creates awareness, we'll understand. So in order to give importance to the merit, the special body, Union Public Service Commission, so it is a constitutional body, including in the state level, State Public Service Commission. So basically to appoint the executives, correct, on the basis of merit. Finance Commission, because India is like central government is more powerful, but somebody should be there to recommend how actually the collected money should be distributed between center and states. Okay, so Finance Commission. And scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, okay, and also minority people with respect to language, correct? All these things, because we know that if you study history, you will understand what is the problem faced by scheduled caste, the lower caste. So for them, separate commission is there. And the tribal people, they are also far away from the civilized society. They are also facing a lot of problems for them, for the upliftment of them. So scheduled tribes national commission is there. Similarly, in India, even though we are having a lot of languages, some languages like minorities means they are less in number. Obviously, they are under Means when the number is less, it becomes difficult for them to grow on their own. So again, the Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities is there. Then CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. So whatever the money is spent by the government need to be audited by someone, right? So it should be accountable, because taxpayers' money should be accounted, correct? So he is the one person who is going to control how the government is spending. Whether for example, you might be knowing about like scams, so 2G scam happened or other things. So how actually the money is spent by the government, so he will be holding control of that. And Attorney General of India, I can say in one line that he is like a lawyer for the government. How you have personal lawyer for your own cases, so similarly he is the advocate for the government. Similarly, he is the advocate for the state, means state level in the Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh or Kerala. So advocate general. And some institutions evolved over the time. Originally it was not there in the constitution, means just by the act of the parliament or by executive resolution. So in order to plan, earlier actually planning commission was there, but now it is removed and the Niti Ayog is in place in order to plan for whole nation. Okay, so Niti Ayog is there. Okay, Niti Ayog, that is National Institution for Transformation of India, correct? So which will take care of all the planning process, like how it should progress, what support is needed to states for the growth of India. Human Rights Commission, we all know that. So in one form or other form, the rights of people are violated. It may be basically like the rapes, correct, or atrocities against the minority people, whatever. So one side the constitution is given the fundamental rights to lead a dignified life. So if it is violated, so this body, Human Rights Commission at the national level as well as state level, is going to examine that and suggest the things to the government. Central Information and State Information Commission. So information is the right of the citizen. Whatever is happening in the government, the citizen is having the right to know, correct? For that, in order to facilitate that, the central levels, Central Information Commission, and state level, State Information Commission is given. And with respect to handle the corruption, okay, so again basically to ensure that accountability is there in order to punish the people who are involved in the corruption, correct? So there are different agencies like Central Vigilance Commission, CBI, and also Lokpal and Lokayukta. Lokpal at the central level and Lokayukta at the state level, we are going to understand. So in detail we will understand this. So 7th and 8th unit you need to focus and understand, because they will be in news always. Okay, fine. So as I said, okay, we have already discussed like what is the Indian polity is. Okay, now we can appreciate, like if I say dual polity as central polity and state polity, at least as a part of syllabus after you understood what you need to study. Okay, and we have understood what is constitution, what is governance, and what is government. So let me tell you the story. Let me tell you the story. I can write it here. See how actually this system of government started. I hope you are curious to know about it. So let us go to the primitive stage. Primitive stage means no rules, no regulations. For example, in a certain particular area, okay, in a particular area, suppose people are living together. Fine. So assume that they are having, this is a crude example so that it means how actually it started. So they are there and they are growing trees. Okay, so person A may be having these two trees, B is like this, C is like this, but this person may be taking fruits from this person's tree. Okay, and this person may be taking fruits from this person's tree. If you ask, they will say that I have put effort and I have taken the fruits from the tree. Who are you to ask? Okay, so this will lead to like conflict, correct? This will lead to conflict. Now I am actually analyzing the things. What is the importance of constitution? What is the importance of polity? I might have said, okay, for the coordination of the people, minimal coordination is required, but this example makes you to understand how much actually it is important. Okay, like this it is happening now. So every day the same quarrels, fight. Okay, finally one day what they decided, okay, so we'll may appoint person D, person D to make laws. Means they may not be having that idea about what is law or whatever, just okay, so that this conflict will not happen. So what that person may do, for example, now, okay, the person L will say, the person L is putting like some lines, okay, okay, so this is A's territory, this is B's territory, this is C's territory. So now you should not disturb others. But what about L? What he has to do for his bread and butter? So these people will say, you do like this, so we all will give one fruit to you, maybe. Okay, so you are, please, like, serve us, we'll give you. Okay, but sometimes, so assume that another tree this person is growing, so it is like this. Now this is coming in the territory of this person. Okay, anyway, the another person over the time, okay, like E, please implement that, whether the rules made are properly followed or not. Okay, so this person gives, assume, simply understand, this person gives him one fruit. So I will take fruit from here. So you say, yes, it is correct, implement it. Correct? Whatever, or this person says or that person says, because obviously the dispute areas will be there. Okay, so he makes the rules and he implements it. But now this person A is not happy because he, in his area a tree is there, and but this person is taking the fruits. Okay, so now another person J comes into picture. Okay, so these people are not right because they are, it is my tree and they are telling that that area comes in that, means that branches are there in that area, so they are taking the fruits, like that they are arguing, that is J. Correct? So like this, so they are taking care of these three peoples, they are taking care of these three peoples. So for this person they are feeding because he is making laws, means rules. For this person E, they are giving fruits or giving money or resource because he is trying to implement them. But whenever the dispute arises, so this person J is solving that problems. Okay, what is actually what actually rule says and what actually the implementation has happened, whether it is right or wrong, the dispute is solved. Okay, so slowly, for example, first thing, in the beginning you understand, only L is making the laws, he is only implementing it, he is only solving the scenarios. So misuse is possible. If he is his friend, he will favor him. So later they said, okay, you make just laws and let other person implement it. Now also the problem happened. Now they made another person, please you be there to solve the problems. Not all the powers are not in this person hand because he may misuse. So like that, actually the government system evolved. Government system evolved. That is, government consists of legislative, executive and judiciary. We know that. That law making and implementation, if there is a conflict or any interpretation required, the judiciary will help you. So this is how the basic government system evolved. What is the need of legislature? So we call them minister. Minister means servants. So this L is a minister, means appointed to serve the people. Then executive, so implement the same thing. Why the powers are not in a single hand? Because if L is making law and he is also implementing and he is also solving the case, so definitely he will misuse, because one who is favorable to him, he will do. But now it will not happen like that. Law making is separate, execution is separate, and judiciary, the problem solving mechanism is separate. So actually this is how the actually government system evolved. Okay, so we'll understand that when we are studying in detail what is the function of legislature, what is the function of executive, what is the function of judiciary, everything we'll understand. Okay, so this is about the introduction class. We'll start from next session. We'll enter into the first how we have made categorization in that first the constitutional, that is historical background in the constitutional framework. We'll understand that. So I have tried to cover what actually we are going to study in the Indian polity, governance and Indian constitution as a part of most of the exams. It is not just UPSC or KPA, means State Public Service Commissions, or lower examinations. For everything, this is one like pillar. This is one big pillar. Okay, so you are free to ask any questions with respect to syllabus, because this is crucial. Without understanding actually where we are heading, we should not start our preparation. Okay, always please ask questions directly to the institution mobile number, that is 6363219044, or you can also mail us at helpdesktopper@gmail.com. Okay, fine. So what I want to say is, when you start preparation, focus on understanding the concepts, then focus on revision, means that is the mantra for success. That is the key to success. Okay, so please do that. Thank you.